This is update number 6 on the progress of my N-Scale lab. And there is a combination of good news and bad news. Unfortunately, a little more bad news than good. But let's go through and take the issues one by one. On the good news side, I was able to just about complete the cement mixing plant. As you can see, I've got all the towers and the ladders in there and the crane. The only thing I really have to do is put some material, gravel and other materials in the bins there. So that's a good thing. Another good news is that I did find a better place for the fireworks store, and you can see that I've put it in there, and the guy's got a house there and a pickup truck, and it looks like he's got a customer. There is a school bus there, so possibly the family that owns the fireworks store has a kid that goes to school. And I did find a bunch of cheap earth moving equipment that I've got in the spot where I'm going to put my chain link fence and build my yard. I will use those cheap plastic things as fillers until I get the much better quality metal kits that I have put together. But that's where the yard's going to go, and I do have the chain link fence. That's going to be another tedious and time-consuming project. The reason I ended up getting the chain link fence right away is because I found that I lacked the enough cork roadbed to redo the track. So the track work is still not done. But I did get the cork and the chain link fence on Thursday, so that's one of the projects that I hope to tackle next week. Another thing that bothered me was I couldn't understand how this little guy on the top of the cement storage facility got up there. So what I did is I added a enclosed ladder. You can see there's a door there at the bottom. If you go around to this side, you can see there's another door at the top so that he can climb the ladder, and if it's snowy or rainy, you won't have to worry about slipping because the ladder is safely inside a nice enclosure. And I've decided that I'm going to put in a small oil storage facility over in this corner, and I couldn't find any that were small enough that I liked, so I'm going to end up building that. That's going to be another time-consuming project, but I have all winter. As you can see, I've got a few small tanks that I did from before. I'll have to build a couple of small storage buildings, and I got some ideas off the internet, so hopefully I'll be able to get some small PVC pipes and make some more storage tanks and some piping and end up with a nice little facility there. So I'll be able to use tank cars and those trucks to haul the oil that you can see there. One other thing I did around here, I rearranged my buildings a little bit because I had a couple of signs on this hotel building, so I put it at the end of a parking lot so that you can see the signs, and you'll notice I'm going to be working on a parking lot there between the buildings. Besides not having the cork, the other huge negative thing is that I ended up just about half an hour ago having a short on the layout, and luckily I was able to find the short. The two wires coming out of the power pack, one of them had frayed a little bit and was touching the other and creating the short. So I was able to figure that out. But what that made me realize is that right now the whole layout is one huge block. A block is an electrical cohesive unit. So I would have to assume that if I have any shorts in the future, and you always get shorts in the layout, that they'll be relatively easy to find. That strikes me as possibly an unrealistic assumption. So my second choice is to flip the layout over again and install some switches so that I can separate the layout into 2 or 3 different sections, so that when I do have a short, rather than having to try to guess where in the whole layout it will be, I'll be able to isolate it into at least one of 2 or 3 different blocks, so that it'll give me a little bit of a head start on trying to find the short. Other than that, as you can see, since I was waiting for the cork, I did do some landscaping here. That's green material is called ground foam. I did use some real dirt. You have to sift it and then bake it in the oven for an hour or 2 to make sure there aren't any little creepy crawly critters that might survive. And then you mix glue and water together, normally about half and half. I'm not really that particular about the combination, so I looked like I had about a tablespoonful of glue or a little more in my mixing bowl, so I added a tablespoonful of water, and that worked out pretty well. And then once you do that, you can spread it over the layout with a small paintbrush and then sprinkle your ground foam onto it. On the roads, as you can see, in addition to painting them gray, I put some wear and tear. I don't know how good you can see it. You can see that there are some cracks. If you get an extra fine Sharpie, you can make them with that. And then the gray streaks are made with charcoal. You make a line on the charcoal and kind of rub it in. And then what you can do to seal it a little bit, you can get some hairspray, maximum hold unscented is best, and put some tape over the track and spray the hairspray over the road, and that kind of seals it a little bit and keeps it from wearing away. There are other beauty products that we use occasionally in model railroading. Nail files, emery boards come in handy sometimes, and we also occasionally use dental picks and other types of instruments that we scrounge from other areas. Anything that looks like it might work is fair game. Other than that, as you can see, I've worked a little bit more on my roads. I've kind of planned out my road through town, how it's going to go. And you can see there's a Pepsi-Cola truck. Looks like it's making a delivery to the convenience store. That's about everything. Oh, I did find my fire truck, so I've got that out, and a car for the fire chief that's parked outside the garage. And over here, it looks like there's a police car kind of hidden there doing maybe a little bit of a speed trap in case anybody is speeding through town. That's about what I've got done this week. As I said, for next week, my plans are to redo the track and try to make it a little more compatible for all of my locomotives, and then install some switches underneath. And if I get those 2 things done, then I'll continue with some of the landscaping or putting some of the kits together.